powerful story of teamwork. Srividya is a multifaceted personality. She's an art of living teacher. She has taught internationally. She has taught youth programs across the globe. She has taught meditation programs to corporate India. And she is a dancer. She's a choreographer. She is also a part of the advisory board of the Performing Arts in Shishi University. Very recently, she also was the performances coordinator with the World Culture Festival. She also brought together a beautiful dance drama form called as Cosmic Rhythm, wherein 4,600 artists came together from 48 different countries and 30 dance forms were displayed. Let's have a glimpse of Cosmic Rhythm. Wasn't that magnificent? Let us try and understand from her what was the concept of Cosmic Rhythm, Srividya, and how did you get so many dance forms together and so many artists together?
Jai Gurudev. So initially when we began with the performance listing for World Culture Festival, we got so many requests from across the globe for performances, but as we know how big the stage was, it was a 7-acre stage. We could accommodate only those dance forms which had large numbers so as they could make the stage look at least a little filled. So that was the first intention. Secondly, after a point we realized that we had so many requests that we had only 3 days and a stipulated amount of time available for performances. So we couldn't accommodate everybody. But at the same time, we didn't want anybody to go back disappointed. So Cosmic Rhythm came as a savior in the end, where we could accommodate those dance forms which perhaps we couldn't give an individual slot to. So we just invited all of them to be part of this huge dance drama, which initially when we began was supposed to be of 500 people, but as the days progressed, we crossed 4,000 artists very, very quickly. The concept of Cosmic Rhythm came about quite effortlessly. We were sitting together one day and we were thinking, if we are going to bring all these dance forms together, it is very typical of Art of Living to do so, because our motto has always been Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, a one world family. So when we thought of how do we integrate all of this into what Art of Living is all about, we thought of nothing better than talking about the journey of a seeker. All of us have come into the Art of Living because we have had that inkling of that search within us which has been ignited somewhere, and we basically just displayed the journey of how that question is finally answered and true seeking begins. What is the path and where does it lead us? So that was the concept of Cosmic Rhythm.
Wow. I believe the dance was performed without a single group rehearsal. How did you make this humanly possible?
It was indeed very adventurous, this whole journey of Cosmic Rhythm, because we had 48 countries across almost, I think, 6 or 7 time zones, which was really, really interesting to work on. But I think that's where Gurudev's entire vision of delegating work really helped me. So we had a very, very strong team that worked across all these countries, and we had very good coordination. We did have 1 or 2 rehearsals over Skype individually. I had a rehearsal which each of the groups individually But together, yes, we didn't have a single rehearsal, but everybody knew the concept, everybody knew when they had to dance, and it just seamlessly came together on stage. So I think more so because everybody had faith in the concept that we were planning to display, and I think it was an added advantage that most of the coordinators were meditators.
So, Srividya, from my experience, no two artists really can see eye to eye with each other.
Yeah.
How did you manage to get so many artists together and, really get them together to really perform and understand each other and make it happen so seamlessly?
Yeah, that's something which a lot of people keep asking me about, that how did you manage to get, say, 3 or 4 Bharatanatyam dancers from different dance schools to come onto stage together, or from different Kathak gharanas, how did they agree to come on stage? But I think the World Culture Festival stayed true to its name, and it was a festival. It was not a competition. Nobody wanted more limelight than the other. There was no fighting over, okay, how many seconds of performance are you getting? How much of space on stage am I getting? Everybody was very aligned to the vision of what we wanted to show as a group. And I think, again, I would say that we had an excellent team that was working on this right from the beginning. We had a fantastic logistics teams in place, both a national team and an international team. We had great people working on the music. So everybody did their bit, and they knew that their bit mattered, but in the end it was a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. That's teamwork, actually.
Yeah.
That's teamwork. Srividya, in the making of this entire event, you must have faced a lot of challenges. In fact, we saw you on screen with a lot of walkie-talkies in your hand. What was really happening backstage? How did you face some of the challenges, if at all? How did you face them, and what really happened there?
We had, like I've mentioned before, a super efficient team. But the secret behind that team was that they were all doing it probably for the first time.
Oh, really?
Yes. So a lot of, I would say 95 to 96% of the stage team was, those who were queuing people up, who were sending them on time, who was handling, playing the tracks, or getting the artists onto stage, getting them to their green rooms, getting them ready. They were all the Art of Living volunteers, and probably they have had some experience of volunteering, but I think as such, for an event of such a great magnitude, it could have been, I think, one of their first experiences. But in any team, in any group event, it is, like I said before, it's so important to have faith in your leader.
Yeah.
And each of them was there because everybody is aligned with Gurudev's vision. So even though they were doing things they had never done before, probably never dreamt of doing before, probably never had the ability, capability, confidence to do before, they were still there and performing when it was required.
Wow.
And that comes primarily through a calm state of mind, which is apparent in our volunteers, because they meditate every single day, and we used to meditate together every single day. In fact, another incident is, on stage, one of the days, we experienced so many weathers, as you know.
Yes.
So one of the days, there was rain on stage, and, artists are very particular about the way they perform, where they perform, how much time they perform, how much time the camera is focused on them, what track are they performing to, what are the others doing. So these are like basic questions. If you go to any other festival, this the first thing they review is what is everybody else doing. But on that day, it was truly overwhelming to see how everybody sat there. As Gurudev has mentioned, it was like a yagya, where everybody sat there through the rain. Even though they were wet, they were sitting there so happy. And they performed after that, even though many of them, they were drenched, their costumes were drenched. And an entire energy, a different energy had taken over the event, and none of them fell sick the next day. They were all there to perform the next day as well. So I think it all comes back to the premise, which is having a stress-free, calm, peaceful, open mind, which accepts change. Only when you're so calm, only when you're so open, only when you're not clouded with stress, will you have the ability to look for solutions.
Sure.
And we didn't have to look for solutions every day. We had to look for solutions every few minutes, because no event of such magnitude had ever been conducted in the history of mankind, I would say.
Absolutely, yeah.
So challenges were there, but I think it was a very, very joyful, unforgettable 3 days of everybody who was there, all those 3.5 million people who were there in person, and all the millions who watched it online. It is very, very obvious that this was truly something that one cannot fathom through logic or the intellect. There was something far greater there at play, and everybody who witnessed it or was a part of it has had a tangible experience of that.
Srividya, out of all the dances that was performed, which was your favorite out of the Cosmic Rhythm?
That's like asking to choose, telling a mother to choose between her children. No, it's almost like that. But I think I love the finale because I saw everybody dancing together in the finale. And, you know, culture really transcends borders for me. Art really is far beyond a few lines drawn on a map. Everything was so special, from American hip hop. We had the bonita and capoeira from Brazil. We had the Argentinian tango. We had some dancers from Africa. We had Iranians performing a Kurdish performance. We had so many groups from Europe. We had Poland. We had then we had a German performance. We also had somebody from New Zealand who had come to perform. From Southeast Asia, we had so many performances from Indonesia, from Japan, China. So for me, if you ask my favorite, I think the whole event was very, very special. But in Cosmic Rhythm, my favorite part was the finale, because you know, when that is a quality of a performance when you know, when everybody started dancing together, the crowd also arose with us, and you know, they were celebrating. There was a wave of happiness, a wave of devotion, a wave of bliss, which suddenly engulfed everybody inside. And that was truly a completely different, unique, special, euphoric experience for all of us. So I think that's something that was very special.
And I would like to ask this one question. The word that you used was euphoric. Even the people who saw in the television, so millions of viewers who were watching it, felt that sense of euphoria when they actually watched the entire dance. Since you're a teacher of Art of Living also, which is the knowledge point that you would kind of connect? Why is it that, you know, a few people in one stadium could uplift the spirit of thousands of people across the world?
I think mainly because everybody who was there was so 100%.
Oh.
And I think when somebody is 100%, you automatically pass on that energy to everybody around. You know, so they could feel it. It was very, very obvious, I would say.
One thing that I've noticed of you, Srividya, is that whether it is the Cosmic Rhythm or whether it's Advitya or other performances that I have seen in the ashram, people who work with you are always very happy and contented. How do you make that happen?
Again, for me, the person to look up to or to follow is Gurudev and his style of leadership, I would say. You know, it's very important in a team that, of course, we recognize each other's strengths, but there is a fine balance between freedom and discipline that we need to always take into account while leading a team. So even with Cosmic Rhythm or with any of the other dance forms, when we have leaders, like for example in Cosmic Rhythm, we had a number of choreographers working with us. So while I was telling them the concept, I was telling them, okay, I want you to represent flames, or I want you to represent clouds, or I want you to represent duality. I was giving them the concept, I was telling them how I wanted it to look, but I gave them the freedom to decide sequences. I also gave them the freedom to give me suggestions on maybe we could represent duality in this way, maybe we can show stillness and movement. So it is important to give a framework, but it's also important to give freedom, and I have learned this from Gurudev. You know, even when he has even when we have been working with so many projects apart from dance programs, there is a great amount of freedom that we do enjoy within the framework, and that also helps keep the spirit and the passion alive in a project. Because
True.
you need to give them that freedom to exercise their creativity, to explore, and that is what gives them that feeling of ownership to the project.
Absolutely.
And then you don't have to convince them about anything, because they own it. It's there's a different sense of belongingness to an event.
Yeah. You know, these are things that we learn from these various management mantras and the various the management schools teach all these things, and you have actually made it possible and happen through this one particular event. This Facebook Live is powered by Ojasvita, packed with the goodness of 7 herbs. Let's now have a glimpse of Advitya, another dance form directed by Srividya. Srividya, Advitya did not have any kind of trained dancers, and they were like the first timers. How did you manage to get that creativity out of them?
You know, this is one thing which always all my fellow artists, so to speak, they always complain about me that I don't know how to say no. I would say they claim it to be my weakness, but I think it is my strength.
Yeah.
Because anybody who comes to me saying that they have a passion to dance or they want to dance, I feel it is important, and it is also I would say a challenge for a director or a choreographer to get that rhythm into them. You know, so I have never said no to anybody who's wanted to be part of the dance dramas which I have directed. I thoroughly enjoy taking them, and also it's important to present them in the right way. So being able to assess their skill and also having the ability to show that skill in the most beautiful possible way. These two things are key, and I think that's what makes an intelligent leader as well. You know, having the ability to include everyone and knowing what is best for them and how we can present them in the most dignified manner. Not just as trees in the background, you know, holding props.
Srividya, in the ancient days, art was revered.
Yeah.
And artists were also looked upon with high esteem.
Yeah.
But these days, if you really notice, there's a lot of materialism that has creeped in. In the World Culture Festival, you managed to get so many artists who were just there to enjoy the performance. How did you, manage to get so many artists who selflessly came and, participated?
Yeah, I think this is something which is this topic itself is something which is very close to my heart. In fact, this reminds me of one instance 2 years back in 2014 when we had the first International Yoga Day, which was celebrated in New York at the UN. In the evening, we had a performance at the Lincoln Center. And I went to New York a couple of weeks before the event, and when I was sitting with our organizers, and we were telling them that, let's do a performance, they wanted a performance. And the first thing that most of them told us was that, there is no free lunch at Uncle Sam's. Meaning to say that, you cannot get anything for People will not come voluntarily. There has to be some form of incentive. It has to be incentivized. You have to pay for their costumes. At least you have to reimburse their travel expenses. We have to pay for facilities, for rehearsals. And when I was listening to what they were saying, it seemed to be coming from their experiences. It was something which came from the ground. But I was very confident that we could pull off an event for the sake of art. And that is what I truly believe in all the dance performances that I have organized. That, like you said, art was never a form or a means of earning money, so to speak. Art was an expression of a refined consciousness. So it is important that we go back to that. And that is why you will see the quality of performances are very different when you see any of these and you see the others. Not that there is anything wrong with earning money or there is anything wrong with demanding a fee. But when it comes to me, I have always encouraged art to speak for itself and to stand for what it always is, which is an expression of joy, an expression of refinement, and expression of creativity. And definitely it is important to take care of our artists. It is important that they are not inconvenienced in any way. But when they perform with that zeal, with that passion, you will see the effect on stage is much different, very, very different.
Yeah, absolutely. In all your programs, we've seen that. And it's a feast to the eyes to watch these programs. Srividya, from whatever I have seen of artists, they come from a space of lack. They always want to fulfill something. They always want to, complete something and achieve something every time. And when they try to do that, they get into addictions. Is there something that you would like to tell to the artists community?
Yes, this is also from my own personal experiences, that often artists or anybody who is in a creative field feels the need to be aggressive to have a continuing creativity, or they feel the need to have some out of the body experiences through some addictions, so that then they can be in the zone. So this is actually quite foolish, because in the end you're harming not just your body, you're also in the long run harming your creativity. You tend to become repetitive. Meditation does not give you a creativity block. On the other hand, meditation helps you tap into those areas of creativity which you would have never otherwise even explored. So it's intelligent for artists to meditate.
Srividya, you are, like I said earlier, and I introduced you, you are a multifaceted personality. How do you manage to balance these various roles, in your life, and how do you excel in each one of them?
I think the answer is very apparent, and that is meditation and listening to knowledge and practicing the techniques that are taught on our Art of Living programs, for sure. And if you would ask me a technique, I think what is most important is that whenever we have any big event in our lives, whether it is a dance program, it could be a project, it could be a wedding, there is a level of balance which needs to set in when we work on any of these events. I know a lot of people who tell me that they completely burn out after events, and they put everything on the back burner, including their health, their food, their eating habits, something so basic. We tend to ignore that. We tend to ignore our relationships. And that is why at the end of the event, I feel they feel very empty, because when they go back, they're going back to a broken lifestyle again. So it is important to balance the mind, it is important to balance the body, it's important to eat properly, stay hydrated through your events, and in the end have the knowledge that this is an event. It is a happening. That doesn't mean we become, we procrastinate or we become passive, but having that knowledge that, we are giving our best, we are being 100%, and then having the ability to let go when you have to.
Wow, that's amazing knowledge. Yeah. Would you like to share with us some of your upcoming exciting projects?
Yes, we have something very, I'm personally very excited about it, because it's a step ahead from Cosmic Rhythm. So we will be having an online dance workshop for anybody and everybody. So it's open to beginners, it's open to people who have learned dancing. The content of the workshop will be shared with all of you very soon. So all of you who are interested, it's going to be very simple. It's going to be an online workshop. You're most welcome to come and join us. And the link to join this workshop is going to flash on the screen right now. So please go and fill out the form so you can get more details about the program.
Teamwork really, this is really a great example of teamwork, because when you talk about teamwork, you talk about being completely de-stressed, coming from a space of faith, coming from a space of trust, being adaptable and flexible, which you so aptly put. I think all the qualities that are required to make a team perform was displayed in the World Culture Festival through your program. It's been really enthralling talking to you. And thank you, Srividya, once again. And viewers, I would suggest that don't miss that particular link. I'm also going to be enrolling for her online program. Thank you so much.